Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. I'm your host, BoredGamer, and I'm here with the very lovely Zinnia. Say hello, very lovely Zinnia.
Hello, very lovely Zinnia.
Perfect. I can throw little curveballs at you, and you just bam, you just catch them. That's how much rapport we have. So we're going to be talking about Star Citizen Alpha 3.22 Wave 1, because we've played that now, which caused me a moderate amount of stress, just us having to fly to get a reclaimer and faff about with a load of stuff.
Getting scanned a lot.
Zin got scanned like 3 times.
Yep. Once while I was landed in the station.
Over a 3-minute period. Just every time they could scan you, they did. Once when you were landed. But yeah, so there are bugs with Alpha 3.22 Wave 1. Quite a lot of them. It needs a lot of refinement. But let's talk about some things that we did. Hair. What do you think of the new hairs?
Oh, it's good. I like the way they look. I mean, I think graphically they still need work, but that's the same thing with clouds and the edges of trees and stuff like that. I think that's something that will come when they improve the renderer. Yeah, they got the Gen 12 renderer, they got Vulkan, they're dripping all this Squadron 42 tech in as well at the moment, and a lot of this stuff needs polish and refinement. They've put some of those Squadron 42 hairs in, and they'll be adding more in the future, and I suspect they'll move it from like pendulum movement to something a bit more clever. Long hair is absolutely fantastic to add to the verse because now you can have long hair. It actually makes quite a big difference to character customization. What did you say the hairstyle was? The Aki Ross.
The Aki Ross. Zin and I both had picked the Aki Ross for our long hair character for some reason. But maybe we just love Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Would we get like? Could I add an image of Aki Ross just to show as an example? I mean, that's it's fair use, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably it's fair use. We don't know how litigious the Squeenix are. They're probably fine with it. It'll be fine. But yeah, new hairs. They've sort of replaced the old ones with these new ones. They're pretty cool. Let's talk about the settlements first, actually. They're not really appropriate for testing at the moment. That's my thought on it. They are interesting new locations around. However, Zin, how many frames did you have when we were approaching the one up Microtech, that little village there?
Less than 1 frame per second.
Yeah.
Maybe 0.1 frame per second.
So both the landing there and leaving there, at a certain point, it went, you're not allowed to have any form of performance anymore. They are the least optimized zone I've ever been in Star Citizen from the whole of Star Citizen's history. It is that bad. I mean, the locations themselves, they didn't have any NPCs in, the ones we looked at, but as I said, they're not appropriate for testing yet. They basically said, we'll make them appropriate for testing later in the PTU cycle. But yeah, they're nice, cool, little, interesting new locations that you'll be able to have missions at. Awesome. I want more places. And when they've got that sort of level of performance, they are unplayable. They are literally unplayable to the extreme degree. Salvage. Zin and I spent some time getting a reclaimer. Rented a reclaimer because my ships hadn't copied across for some reason. And this is an interesting one. So a lot of people are pretty annoyed or were expecting more from structural salvage, the second sort of tier of salvage. So what did you think? What do you think of expectation versus reality for us salvaging in the reclaimer together?
It was very basic compared to what you would expect it to do.
Yeah, and that's even at this stage, it was pretty basic. It's like, is this sort of all it is? So hull stripping, you can see what you're hoovering and lasering, right? And you get a nice sense of, I could write my name in it. I could see the sort of skeleton of the ship. In this mode, so Zin as the claw operator, so the second seat is basically in control of structural salvage. And instead of actually being a grabby, the claw has now become sort of like a salvage array. So it opens up to a maw, and you've got 2 modes then when you're in your salvage mode, which you go into by pressing M, I think. You've got fracture, which is right alt and W, and disintegration, which is right alt and S. And fracture mode, you basically go, I'm blowing up the ship. Was it just you left clicked on it, wasn't it, when you were fracturing? Yeah,
so it was just a toggle.
Okay, so fracturing toggle.
Yeah, you literally just go activate, and then you just sit there and wait for this little circle, like, completion thing to finish.
And then you've basically blown up the ship so that you can then salvage the individual parts that you've blown up.
Yeah, and then the the disintegration was exactly the same.
Yeah, it turned it into sort of like a liquid. It's like a soup that you then sucked up in your Hoover. And one of the things, unless someone else can tell us how to do this, Zin couldn't work out how to point the claw in any other direction. The pilot sort of points it, and the second seat operator just clicks a couple of mouse buttons. It's not the greatest mechanic in the world. And Cloud Imperium did actually respond to this. Thank you all for the feedback. I get all your frustration in regards to the simplicity of the current implementation of structural salvage aspect of the salvage gameplay. We wanted to bring you the gameplay in a quicker time frame than what we'd normally do, and that comes with the cost of being simplified. That does not mean, though, that we do not continue working on fitting the feature better in the global frame of how Star Citizen will play. As some of you already pointed out, this feature is heavily dependent on the Maelstrom technology, and because we did not want to waste too much of our work in inventing new tech that will be depreciated in the future, we had to take this approach. We are still working hard to improve what we can in our time remaining. It is at the end of the year, and my team will start to go on into the well-deserved Christmas break, including me. There will be one thing coming that will add a little complexity, though, but more on that next week once it makes the build. But being honest, this will just tackle a small portion of the feedback that we've been getting so far. To be very clear, this approach we took is us wanting to give you something nice for the end of the year, and also for us to be able to tell and measure what you enjoy about structural salvage, to be able to improve on it, and also learn how you react to these early test beds. We do have plans to make the fracturing part more skill-driven, but implementing those takes time and is heavily dependent on other teams who also require a significant amount of time. Our team will be talking about our decisions, intention, and goals in some detail in an upcoming Inside Star Citizen. As always, I'll keep you posted. So, what do you think of that as a response from CIG about the very basic implementation of Salvage?
I mean, it's fair enough.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they said we were going to get it. We've got it. Maybe not in the form that we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it's functional to a degree, and allows you to do it. They're totally correct in saying they want maelstroms so they can actually break the ships apart properly, and in the meantime this is a steps towards that, but is effectively a placeholder for it as well. So it's something very basic. People were obviously expecting a bit more, as was I, and that was not communicated by CIG very well before they had to communicate it afterwards, which is never a good look. But I mean, it's there. It's just I won't be doing it too much. It's not. I'd rather be doing hull stripping if I was doing any form of salvage.
I mean, if you want to be making the maximum amount of money, then you will be doing, like, the munching doesn't take that long. So once you strip the hull, you might as well just quickly vacuum it up.
Yeah, it's just, I feel that it would be better if I could move the claw in the second seat, right? And things like that. There's a load of stuff. There's we didn't go into it, but there's buffers and stuff now for the amount of salvage ships can hold, and that apparently improved a load of stuff. So they are improving the salvage gameplay, and hopefully it will get into a bit of a better state before they actually release this to live. They did say that, but then obviously it's going to get a lot better, hopefully, once they have the Maelstrom tech for breaking ships apart in a more interesting way. What do you think of Arena Commander, the Multicrew stuff that we played, Sin?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not quite sure what took so long, but I don't know the inside workings, so...
Yes, this should have been in-game super early on in Star Citizen's life cycle, right? The ability to multi-crew ships in loads of different modes. And the new UI is great. It just goes bam, you can sort of jump into other people's ships. You can, you don't have to keep on going out of the game to change what ship that you want to put in. So that's absolutely awesome. Really good fun. As in, I tried out a Hurricane, which is awesome good fun, until the turret breaks. And I say turret breaks, I think it just gets bugged out.
It either gets bugged out or maybe it got disabled.
Damaged.
But it just got stuck in a lining.
But we had the same problem with another ship earlier as well.
Yeah, but again, it could be same thing, got destroyed or whatever. Point
towards Zin, maybe they are literally aiming at you. It's possible they are targeting you. They literally, instead of me, they're targeting you. Could be a thing. The other thing we tried was a Mercury Star Runner, which is a very tanky boy. And I think there are some ships that are going to, like the Hammerhead and stuff, you're going to want a full crew for, which is good fun to do those swarm modes in. And I suspect to do PvP in a more, I'm going to have a Constellation versus a Hammerhead or something like that. So interesting matchups. Make tournaments and stuff like that really cool as well, for sure. Sin and I will once there's a little bit more polish to this patch, we'll be taking on some Pirate Swarm and Arena Commander and that sort of stuff for sure. But, yeah, I thought that was really good fun. And I'm glad you seem to enjoy it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular ships that you think that we should try out?
I don't know.
No, that's cool. So yeah, 3.22 Wave 1 PTU, very much a work in progress. Like the performance issues, it's a bit unstable. We only had one crash, or did you have a couple of crashes?
I crashed when I was trying to leave the atmosphere of Microtech at that place.
Yeah. So we had a 30k.
I think that was performance related.
Yeah, it's a lot less stable than other previous builds we've had in PTUs more recently. So yeah, it still needs polish. They've got a few weeks though. They need to get it done within 2 to 3 weeks before they go on holiday, and hopefully they can. Do you think that we'll, by the end of the year, just have an open PTU, or do you think we'll actually have the live build?
Just open PTU, I think.
Okay, that's certainly the safe bet, right? Because they haven't put the sort of testing in properly for their settlements. They haven't put the X1 in or the Santoki Eye. There's still features that need to be tested and need to come in. So a load of new Arena Commander stuff as well, those new maps and all that jazz. So yeah, I think Zin's probably right. It probably will be open PTU by the end of the year rather than live. But let's hope. Let's hope that they get everything and all their ducks in a row. We've still got Luminalia coming up. Should be starting next week, I believe. And that'll be the 12 days of little free gifts and some other cool stuff. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about.
Ooh.
And for 3.22, Wave 1, get involved if you can. We'll be going out to wider waves in the very near future, potentially by the end of this week. We could see Wave 2 and Wave 3 sort of stuff. I suspect that Cloud Imperium are going to try and power through that. But yeah, tell us what you think in the comments below. If you've been playing Alpha 3.22, what do you think of Salvage? Are you disappointed with structural salvage like a lot of people are? Do you think that's going to be made better by the end of the year? Are you just going to be like, yeah, I'm fine with it until they get the sort of Maelstrom tech in? Keep on advancing the rest of the game. Bam, 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 bam. It doesn't need to all be perfect yet, for sure. Or are you disappointed that Cloud Imperium didn't communicate it exactly what it was going to be to us earlier and sort of let us go rabble before making a statement? Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. And yeah, tell us your questions and your thoughts in the comments below.
Ho, ho, ho. It's me, Father Nordmus. That's right. It's that time again to see who's on my naughty list for who doesn't have a VPN. No, that's Northern Claus. Grass from Northern Claus, Timmy. You should be scared of not having a VPN. As you know, Father Nordmus punishes all that disobey him. It's the perfect Nordmus present, Timmy. There's no excuse. I can see all of your website history, and I'm going to sell all of your data, Tim.
NordVPN helps protect your online activity, gives you greater accessibility to the content you want by changing your location, and much, much more. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer before Das Northern Claus finds you. Every month we have a Star Citizenship giveaway. For December, we are giving away a Drake Corsair. It's the winner of the 2953 Ship Showdown and one of the stars of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This fantastic multi-role, multi-crew, long-range mission runner can do a bit of everything in-game, and it has a penchant for exploration. Just comment on any of my videos during December to be in for a chance of winning that. There are further details in the description below. A big thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel via Patreon or the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member. It will net you some exclusive content from Zin and I, but also it really does help us to be able to create daily Star Citizen content, as does sharing these videos and commenting. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.